So, I was contacted by these guys at JAMJUM. They asked me if I wanted to review this, their JP1 MIDI controller pad. They actually sell it on Temu. I was intrigued in seeing what it was all about. If you are as well, stick with me to find out more. This thing arrived from Temu in a reasonable time. It was well packaged and everything looked good. The packaging is straightforward. You get the USB-C cable to connect to your PC, a user manual and the device itself. I got the white color, but there is one available in black as well. At first glance it looked like a generic pad that I have reviewed in the past. On the back you get a USB-C connection and a MIDI one. You should take into consideration this has a 3.5mm TRS connection for MIDI. So if you need a 5-pin MIDI to connect to a physical synth, you need one of these adapters. Now for the build quality, the pad surprised me a bit. Even though it is plastic, it feels good to the touch, it's sturdy and stable. If you plan to take it away, you can just toss it into your backpack and not worry too much about it. The pads on the JP1 are RGB lit and are pretty good in my opinion. They are not in the premium tier, but they are springy, not too stiff and responsive. The retrigger value is also okay. I managed to do a drum roll fairly easily. They have 4 velocity curves and 1 fixed. To enable the fixed one, you need to only press the full level button. Now, the same as the knobs, the pads have 3 banks which you can change between them with the help of the pad bank button. One thing I wish JAMJUM would have added here is a pair of transpose buttons. You can change the pads in their dedicated app, which I will talk about a bit later, but it's always better to have it on hand. Now for the knobs, they are endless encoders, they feel good to the touch and do present a bit of resistance, so you can dial in parameters with precision. The knobs are on the smaller side, but are okay overall. The pad has a note repeat function which has all the usual modifiers, like swing, latch, tap tempo and different subdivision presets. It also has the shift button where you can control some other options, like velocity, aftertouch settings, or you can turn off the lights on the pad. Cool little ad by JAMJUM, as your eyes sometimes get tired of the lights. They say the JP1 has a battery life of 20 hours without plugging in. I didn't test that, but the battery was always sufficient for my tasks. Now, the main thing that I dislike about this and other pads like it is the fact that the transfer control buttons don't work out of the box. You have to MIDI map them, and in case of Ableton Live, this only works on the project that you are working on. Still, you can map them in the app and use them as standalone buttons for different uses. Also, if you press hold, they can have a different CC control assigned. So, 2 buttons into one. I connected the JP1 to my iPhone via Bluetooth, and it works quite well. The latency is pretty good, so I tried connecting it to my Android pad and it did connect, but when I opened apps to play, no MIDI messages were being sent. I need to look into that more. When connecting to the PC, the guys at JAMJUM suggest using the MIDI Berry and Loop MIDI Way. If you don't know what that is, I discussed that more in a previous video. I will leave links in the descriptions for that. Now for the app meant to control the pad. Its name is KuSuite, and you just go to their website, link in the description, and you download it. When I first tried to run it, Windows gave me a warning that it is not safe, but I did get the same kind of warning in the past with other products. The app recognizes your pad and you can customize everything there, from commands for each button, to lighting, to firmware updates. It is very well thought out and easy to use, so a big thumbs up for that. It even has a preset list for all your major DAWs. Being that I am an Ableton Live user, I loaded that one. I thought the transport control buttons would work if I did this. Long story short, they didn't. Still, it's nice they struggle for you to be up and running with the pad as soon as possible. You can have 8 presets for the pad, for different DAWs or maybe controlling an external synth. So there you have it, the JP1 MIDI controller pad from JAMJUM. This is a fun little device, reliable, and even though it's from Temu, I was pleasantly surprised by it. If you are in the market for a MIDI keyboard though, check out this video. Cheers!